All right. What's up, Bulldogs? Today we're going to be talking with Daniel, who is the founder of Asset Avenue. As you know, I've been, you don't see me promoting crypto. That's not kind of the thing that I do. And so I know a lot of people are like, oh, what the heck is going on here? Is this one of those kind of weird things? And it's not. The main reason why I teamed up with Asset Avenue was because of my interest in real estate and that this is just a great way to buy real estate. That it's something that I believe is the future of real estate transactions, and doing these things on the blockchain. And so I had some good talks with Daniel, and we decided to kind of team up together. So I thought, all right, let's kind of just do an Ask Me Anything. So with Daniel, so that he can answer any kind of questions that you guys have, any kind of concerns that you have. You can see that I'm not crazy and see really the value of this, because I know that there is a lot of stuff out there in the market where it's they're quick money making schemes, there's rug pulls, there's all this kind of stuff that's out there. And Daniel definitely could speak to a lot of this as well. But welcome to the channel, Daniel.
Thanks a lot for having me. Really looking forward to this, and any questions that there might be, I'm happy to answer all of them.
Awesome. Well, let's start off with maybe just talking about like what's kind of the idea behind Asset Avenue. What problem is it designed to solve? Because a lot of tokens, I think people launch tokens and it's like, okay, this is really just like meme coins have been very popular. And it's like, it's not really solving any problem. It's just kind of a get rich quick type of thing, but Asset Avenue is solving a problem. So yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so to answer that, I would back off a little bit from where I came from, where I'm from. I've been in real estate for over a decade, and I've been doing investments and all types of real estate investments throughout Europe, from north to south mainly, also some other continents, but mainly Europe. And with my own equity, with partners, with crowdfunding, so many different types of projects. And at some point, because as a real estate guy, I'm literally the opposite of a crypto person.
Right.
I like the tangible things. I like seeing the windows, seeing the doors, having something there, and that was my world, and especially also for my partners. And there was a situation at some point where an investor asked if he could pay partially with Bitcoin, and we were not sure what to do back then, but we just. Back then, in the way we saw it, we just gambled a bit. We said, okay, why not? But when we got there, when we got into blockchain, we realized how amazing blockchain would be for the real estate market. It would make so many things so much easier. Anybody who is in real estate who has had some experiences knows that it's not just buying, renting, and everything goes smoothly. It's quite a bit the opposite. We had situations that were just horrible. That could have gone so badly wrong, and just not because somebody was acting in bad faith, just because the system is set up poorly. Everything that is on paper, there's sometimes things happen where even the notary has data that is outdated, is 2 days old, and we could go off here and I can tell stories where we were sweating blood and tears and going to court, and just because somebody was doing. Well, because there were mistakes, but that would have never happened on the blockchain. So when we realized what blockchain really was, and it makes so much sense to have big assets moved on the blockchain, and for real estate it would be amazing, even though governments don't want that, but blockchain itself is amazing. So when we got into that, and I realized that I of course, for myself, I started looking to projects that were in the real estate market, that were in the real estate space, and I just couldn't find anything where I really felt comfortable putting a lot of money in. So putting $500,000 into one of those projects, even though the ideas were good, I just didn't feel like, it was not transparent enough. It was not secure enough. There was always some gray area where I always felt like, no, I'm not 100% certain that if I invest this money into assets, into anything, that was really mine. That there was always some flaw. So I didn't like this way. I never bought any coins, even though some projects have very amazing ideas. But some of them, for example, are just not legal. They're not compliant, and they might work when they work on a small scale. But the moment they get big, they would get incredible problems with SEC and stuff like that. So So I slowed that down, but I always had in my mind that the blockchain was amazing for real estate, and there should be a way to implement that. And 1.5 years ago, a friend of mine, he works with at Jupiter and on Solana. He's a developer. We were sitting down, we were talking about this, and we just said there must be a way to make this happen, because the blockchain is there. So why is nobody really doing a real project, like a real business, instead of trying to write a narrative which could go well or could go wrong?
Right.
Like creating a business that really makes investment in real estate possible, because we can talk about the advantages, but there's so many, not just the security, but also the options, the liquidity, the diversification you can achieve. There's so many things that blockchain would make easier, and we ended up just creating the plan. And but also I must say that in the beginning, the plan of Asset Avenue was a bit different. We had to change a bit as well, because we had to talk to so many lawyers, and because our main focus is to make it compliant, so that everybody who really wants to invest in real estate can, and have something secure, which is going to work long term. So this is how we came up with the Asset Avenue. This is how we developed, and we are making huge steps. We are almost there. I'm so happy how we developed in the last months, because the last months were crucial and made incredible improvements. And I'm really looking forward to the future. So the next year is going to be unreal.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I had a similar type of thing, because I always, thought, okay, well, the real estate transactions, they should be on the blockchain. What's stopping this from happening? And like you said, my initial investigations, there was companies trying to do this, but they weren't paying attention to SEC regulations, and so they were having issues where what they were doing was going to be considered trading securities, which is a big no-no. And it just occurred to me, just so at least in the U.S., for it's kind of archaic the way that we do titles, right? To understand who owns a title in the U.S. For instance, if I buy a property, I have to hire a title company to give me title insurance, and you have to have insurance on it, because we're not certain about the ownership of the title. We have to go through county records and look back in time and say, okay, well, here's this stacks on top of this one, and this applied to this, and this applied to this, because real estate also contains a bundle of rights that you have, and those rights can be assigned differently. You can have easements, you can have all of these things that really add up to determine the title of the property, which if you're doing this on the blockchain, it just makes a lot of sense to me, because there's no question about it. It's a very clear record of exactly what happened to this piece of
it could property. Of course the government still don't want to do that, but the blockchain would be amazing for transactions like that.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of future in this. So I guess a question came in here. Let me see. Well, a couple. Well, the first one is where's the coin listed at to buy right now?
Yeah, we're still in pre-sale phase. The reason we will, I can get to that when we're going to launch, because it's going to happen pretty quickly, and we just need to have a couple of milestones. But it's still on the pre-sale page on our website, and it's the only place you can buy it. The price is rising every 3 days, and we will launch ASAP. Our main goal is to launch the token as soon as possible. The reason why we haven't launched it, because I don't want to create a token which is empty, which is worthless right now. What I want is that the second the token gets live, that you can immediately invest in real estate. You can immediately buy real estate, participate in everything. And for that, the problem was that we have to, of course, talk to very big and slow institutions, which are mostly banks, because we have to have a system which is scalable, and that part is very important. I can later explain how the investment is going to work exactly, but one key component of that process is that our Asset Avenue Club, is able to change cryptocurrency into fiat at large scale quickly. And for that, we have to have a process with the banks that we're working with, so that they tell us, okay, you need to do step 1, 2, and 3. Once you've done that, we know for sure that we can immediately change that fiat money into that crypto to fiat money. Right. So we can go then and buy the real estate asset. And because in the real world, you can't everywhere pay with crypto. You have to pay with fiat money,
Right.
with the local currency. So that's the main thing which is holding us back. We are so close, and finally the banks, since they have understood that we're doing what we're doing, which is legit, and what we're doing is good, they are working with us. But we are the first project they ever encountered with this problem, who wanted the ability to change millions of USDC into local currency. So that is a big issue for them. But what we got there, and it's just in the last step. So right now, for the question to go back, the coin is only listed on our website. It will be, though, once we launch, it will be on a Solana DEX. That's the first step. And very shortly after, we already have partnership. We have already agreed with central exchanges and tier 2 second exchanges, 2 of them, where we're going to launch. But that's shortly after the DEX launch.
Awesome. And just so I think we kind of haven't really talked about exactly what does the token do, right? Why does someone need a token in this case to be able to do the real estate deals? Because I think there's 2 separate things that maybe confuse people. One is having the Asset Avenue token and having the membership, and then 2 being, okay, what is Asset Avenue in terms of making it so that you can invest on the blockchain?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I can explain the whole process. So one, I previously mentioned that one of the key components of our company is the compliance. So Asset Avenue is built as a club. It's a closed environment where the public cannot just buy real estate. You have to be a member of the club in order to be allowed to invest in the project, in the real estate project. So you need the token to access our club. It's like a membership fee. You have to have that. There are some other things that the token can do, but the main core principle, the main core task of the token is the access to the club, and it's crucial for the compliance aspect. So once in order to become a member, you have to pass a KYC, and you have to stake a certain amount of tokens. The more you stake, the more you are later allowed to invest in real estate. The real estate investment itself will just happen with stablecoin, mostly. There might be some other coins we will accept, but it will, and maybe also our token. But this is just future talk. Just imagine you need the token for the access to the club. Once you're in the club, once you're a member, you get access to the whole network, to all the other members, and you get presented with real estate assets where you can invest in. You can buy shares in those assets. Or you can buy the whole asset yourself. It's very important that if you wanted to be the owner of an asset, of a house, you could buy 100% of that as well. Imagine you find in your hometown a real estate project which look cool, which you like, where the numbers add up. Maybe you want to purchase it yourself. What you could through Asset Avenue, or you could just go and say, no, I want to finance 40% of this, and the other 60% I offer this to other members. This is, as a member, you're allowed to offer those projects to the other members. And yeah, and how does the investment really work? In recap, it's quite simple. For every asset, for every real estate asset, there's going to be created in a legal entity, a company basically, and this company will sell their shares, and you will buy the shares of this company through crypto. By doing this, this company will you will receive a token in return, which the company is going to create specifically for that asset. And this is important because later you could sell those tokens again, or you could use it as lending collateral, things like that. But you will buy those tokens, you will buy those shares, and become a member of that company. And since the company is only going to hold this one asset, you automatically are the owner of that asset as well, in percentage that you have bought shares. So let's say you buy 10% of the tokens of that asset, you own 10% of that asset.
Okay, yeah. And then what I was going to say. So basically, if people are looking at this as an investment opportunity for buying the coin, the AAV token, right? So the idea is that people are going to need this you need this in order to become a member of the club. And so the value of that coin would then be tied to the value of this membership. Since it's a limited amount, you need a certain amount in order to be a member, to have access to these.
Yes,
deals,
of course.
right?
In the crypto space, of course, there are people who lose money and people who make money.
Right.
All the people who make money on the blockchain, on crypto, that's the first target. At some point, they will have to think about what to do with their crypto, with their money. And probably investing in real estate, at least a part of that, is maybe not a bad idea. Everybody can do whatever he wants with his money, but there will be so many people looking for ways to invest their money to get a return that they can use in their real life. Because of course, when you invest in real estate through our platform, you can get rental income in fiat money into your bank account, for example. So all these people, they will need our token. Without our token, they will not be able to access the club. So, and since those are the ones who actually made money, because that's like in the real world, the best clients you can have are the other clients who have money. So they might be more interested in getting that token even at a higher price. So getting the token right now might make sense very much, because our main goal is to have never that token at this price again. We want to thank everybody who is participating right now with big rewards and the price which is very, very fair, so that they can make money on that as well. So if somebody just said, no, I don't want to invest in real estate, I just want to hold the token, it makes probably a lot of sense, because many people will need the token in the future. And we might once we start talking about our long-term vision, that number might go even a lot higher.
And just to make it clear, the whole, again, reason behind the token is because if you were to just offer real estate transactions on the blockchain, offer these real estate deals without having a private club or membership, then that would be in violation of SEC laws, because it'd be trading as a security, right? You have to have qualified investors, or
Exactly. This is such an important part. I mean, I know that there are companies out there who are doing that, where you can just invest, but it's just in such a gray area. And in my opinion, when you invest a lot of money into something in real estate, you don't want the problem of sitting there at some point in your life and thinking that maybe your money is locked up for many years, or frozen, or you don't want that problem. So, because in real estate, we're not talking about a couple $100 that you might win or lose. We're talking about big amounts. You don't want that nightmare of fearing that money might be gone or something like that. That your savings. So this is my philosophy, and this is how I built this. How I structured this whole process and this whole club. I don't want anybody who joins the club to have that problem. So I'm building everything so that the chance for that is so low that it can't happen, or it shouldn't happen. And
okay, yeah.
So and that's the main idea. Yeah, that's why this part is so crucial. And I think people who want to invest in real estate, and not just a small amount, yeah, well, we know that they are appreciating this. This is our feedback. The feedback we're receiving from so many people is very positive, to say the least.
And we got a comment here, which I understand this comment, right? He says, "Damn, they got John Sonmez too. No one is safe." There's a lot of skepticism, right? Obviously, when I first started talking about Asset Avenue, there's a lot of skepticism, because so many people, so many influencers have been involved in rug pull types of stuff. There's all kinds of everyone creating a crypto coin, meme coins, and all this stuff, and they end up, just it becomes a money making scheme. Why is Asset Avenue different? What's the kind of confidence that you can give people that this is a lot different than those type of situations?
Well, rug pull, the first thing, that's simply something that can't happen, because our team, our tokens, we only have a small amount, and they are locked up for 24 months with a cliff period. So there is no possibility for any of us to make a rug pull. But yes, of course, I understand totally that that concern from many people, because in the crypto space there is a lot of market manipulation. But our idea is not to create a coin that could be quickly money, or our idea is to make a real company which is going to stay here on the long run, and that simply uses the blockchain as it should be used. Of course, if you want to make quick money and hope for 100x in 2 days, then you might go into meme coins. But what we are doing here is a real project, something that makes sense, something that it can stay here for decades, and use the blockchain for what I believe it's made for, which is secure, transparent transactions. And the token is something there you could buy and just gamble with it and use it as to sell it later as a higher price. But the main idea of Asset Avenue is having something long term which really works, which makes sense. And once you understand how blockchain works, you just immediately understand what the blockchain could do to this real estate market.
Right. And I think that, to give some more assurance to, right, and full transparency, right? So my arrangement with you guys with Asset Avenue is that as an advisor, that I have a certain allotment of tokens that are given to me, but I have a vesting on that, right? So it's a year. So I can't even, a lot of people I think are worried, oh, well, influencers, someone, they promote a coin, and then they get everyone that's subscribed to their channel to buy this coin, and then they're getting a bunch of tokens in the background, and then they just, as soon as that price spikes up from everyone buying it, then they sell all their tokens off, right? And that's not something that I can do. It's not something that you can do, right?
Exactly.
Right?
That's very important, and we display this everywhere. That's the beauty on the blockchain, that you could. For some people, it might be difficult technological wise, but you could check if somebody is lying, and you could see how possible a rug pull and things like this could be. And unfortunately, you're totally right that many influencers work just like that. I hate that in the crypto space. That there's too much market manipulation, in my opinion. But we just work in the opposite way, and I hope that many businesses will follow in the future. You should be able to gamble with coins and make money or lose money, but the blockchain is something very cool, and we just need to, and we just want to utilize it as it's supposed to.
Okay, yeah, and if you guys are listening, watching, if you have questions, if you're still skeptical about that, ask questions. This is pretty bulletproof. Daniel will answer any kind of questions. If you're still like, oh, I don't know, this still seems like this could be scammy or something like that, ask questions. Let's get to the bottom of it, because I'm trying to be as open and transparent with you guys. And like I said, I wouldn't be promoting something that I hadn't investigated thoroughly myself and didn't believe in. And like I said, I can't even, I have a vesting schedule on what I've been given, and that means that I'm looking at this for the long term, not for a couple of days after it goes live on the market. I can't sell at that point. I have to wait, just like Daniel has to wait as well, and the team has to wait, because this is not, the idea is not to create a token that makes a bunch of money. The idea is that the token allows the business model, right? Which I think someone asked about the business model itself. So maybe you can answer this question.
Yeah, and also just to get quick, our main idea is to create a company where you don't want to sell the token.
Right.
So that's what the main goal should be. The idea should be to have something so valuable that nobody wants to sell it. That's how somebody will make, how the price will go up on the long term. That's how you can create a token or which holds up through a bear market or bull runs. So it's not that important in which phase we're at. At some point, this should be more like stocks that go up and down, but not as volatile as they are in crypto, where everybody's thinking now, okay, when will the big recession come? Everything will dump then. No, the idea is to create tokens that hold on long term, that go up in value because people don't want to sell their tokens. So that's what we have to do. So let's get back to the question: how does Asset Avenue plan to make money over time? Is it through fees, membership, selling tokens, or other ways? it's through fees. So not selling tokens. That will be exactly the Ponzi scheme that we were talking about. No, Asset Avenue, as just like a real estate agent, but much less, is going to take a fraction of every transaction in real estate transactions. But we're talking about less than 1% on the transaction. So it's just because of course the club has some operating costs. There has to be there's some things that have to be done, some salaries have to be paid, not a lot, but there are some, and we have built this as decentralized as possible so it can work smoothly over time without depending on one person. But there are some costs, and that's why our Asset Avenue is going to make money.
Good. Okay. Yeah, and just to go along with what you said before too, I think that the big distinction too that at least for me in seeing this project is that the token is a utility token. It has function. It does something. It's not like a token that has no use for it. The reason why it would be valuable for someone to hold this token is because it allows you to gain access to be able to participate in the real estate deals. So I think a lot of people are missing that because they don't understand the difference between tokens that are just out there like meme coins and tokens that have utility value. And I think because a lot of people are creating tokens that don't really have a utility value or it's marginal utility value.
Or they're just riding on a narrative wave. That's exactly what I don't want. I don't want the token to launch right now, because then we would just be one of the other tokens, because we wouldn't have something built. And we are so close. And yeah, once we get the green lights, then we're ready to go. Excellent.
And then Marco asked about, I'm late to the party. So is real estate purchased with AAV or USDC? I know we already kind of answered this, but if you want to just
sure, yeah. So yes, the investment itself will mostly be in stablecoin.
Yep.
There might be in the future. It depends a bit on the development, but there might be AAV might be as well. But usually count on it that you will invest in real estate itself with USDC. You need AAV to access the club. It's like the club access. Of course, at some point you will be able to sell the AAV to invest as well. But for now, it's going to be a USDC.
Okay. Yeah. So let me see. We've got a question about, I think, the long-term plans. Let me see here. Well, how about this one? How much is the coin? So what's the value of the coin right now, the pricing?
Right now, it's at 7.8 cents, dollar cents.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what's the long-term and the short-term goals with this?
Okay, so short term is to create a platform where you can easily and transparently buy real estate shares or real estate assets in total. Long term, that's why we called it Asset Avenue, not Real Estate Avenue, is that once we have the system in place where everything is AML secure and we can make all these purchases, then the idea is that Asset Avenue becomes more like a networking club for assets. Could be plenty of assets. It does not only have to be real estate. It could be businesses. It could be art. I am like a firm believer that any business should have a core, a heart that works well, which is real estate, because that's my market and that's where we're building around right now. But once real estate is established, of course there will be other assets as well, and that the network is going to be able to adapt and to offer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And what about I was going to ask about the I mean, I think maybe just to clarify, because I got some questions about this when I was talking about it earlier. Why would someone want to purchase real estate on the blockchain versus how it's done now? Like, what's kind of the advantage that they would have? I know we talked a little bit about it, but just maybe to make it really clear to people what the value of this is.
There are several advantages, but some of them, for example, are as liquidity. Let's say you have, let's say small amounts, $100,000. You have saved $100,000. You could then go ahead and try to purchase. Well, in the US, it's kind of difficult right now, but you can go ahead and purchase a small apartment somewhere, and you could rent it out and make some income maybe. But everybody knows that if you only have one place, first of all, the the administration, the management could be quite a nightmare at some points. You could have bad tenants. Things could go wrong. Things could break.
Right.
Or you could do what take those 100,000 and invest it in 10 different real estate projects on the blockchain, which diversifies a bit your risk, and also you could get into markets where you usually would not invest in. This is a very important aspect, because the network itself in the club will give you such a worldwide knowledge. You will be able to invest worldwide, not only your hometown. This is very crucial in real estate, because people think that real estate investing is easy. That's the reason why banks don't like to lend money for international purchases, because they don't know the market. So if I'm an expert in Spain, for example, to say something that was where I worked a lot, I would have a very hard time investing in Singapore, even if the market might be very good. But I don't know the area. But in the network, in the club, the collective intelligence is much higher. Also, we have our AI, which we're developing, which is going to help big time, which is analyzing worldwide markets anywhere. But this is a different topic. It will be also available to other members, to all the members. But yeah, so this is one thing. You can diversify and invest. Maybe say, okay, I'm going to invest $10,000 into an apartment somewhere in my neighborhood. Then another 10,000 in Europe. Maybe I want something safer. I go to Berlin. Then I go something more risky. I go to North Africa. Where I could get a much higher yield on my money, where I could get something like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40% annually, which is possible in those countries. But of course, the risk is high, but you can diversify those things. And the good thing then, you could sell that money, those shares quickly back. So let's say you need some money, you invested 100,000, but you need suddenly $20,000 because your mother got sick. Well, you could sell a couple of shares and get your liquidity quickly back. In the real estate world, if you have one apartment, it's quite difficult. First of all, try finding somebody who wants to buy 20% of your apartment, which usually never happens. And if you want to sell the whole apartment, then you're under pressure to get the deal done quickly. So you might sell at a bad price. And with shares, you could sell those to different people easily. So getting liquidity is much more possible on the blockchain, and you can diversify. Those are very important topics. There are others, like how you invest, where you invest, when you invest, but those are one of very, very important factors. This is also a reason why we already talking to so many real estate agencies, because we want to onboard not only the crypto people, but also the normal clients, the off-chain people. One of the big problems for real estate agencies is usually not selling property. The problem for them is to get product. Yeah. So many real estate agencies have people coming in and saying, okay, I got this money, I want to invest it in real estate. Do you have something for me where I could invest into? Well, those agents will be able to help us promote our club and our projects, which makes total sense. So these people could get on board and invest in real estate through the blockchain, even if they never heard of crypto before, really.
And then what about leverage? How does leverage come into play? So like, for example, if I buy a property in the US right now, I might put 20% down, borrow 80% from the bank. Will investors on Asset Avenue be able to utilize leverage? How will that work?
That's a bit more tricky. It depends really on the country where the asset is. Again, that's why banks don't work the same in every country. It really depends where the asset is. But because this company which is going to buy the asset, yes, it could work with banks. But usually what we're going to do is you're going to invest with crypto, and we're talking to lending platforms. This is I should not be allowed to talk about this already, but we're talking to lending platforms, and I hope we get this done so you can use your coins as collateral and lend against that. But that leverage that usually in the off-chain world, that is going to work a bit differently. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the country. In the US, banks are much more open to finance. It's an amazing market, but they are much more open to finance, for example, investment properties. In Europe, you don't get that financing the way they use it in the US. It really depends on where the property is, how the banks operate there, and then. But there is no rule why it shouldn't be as it is in the off-chain world, but it really depends on the country.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, I mean, I guess things might change. This is kind of gonna have to see how some of this works. But if I understand correctly, so for example, let's say that I had a project that I was bringing to market on Asset Avenue in the U.S., then potentially I would utilize a company to buy that asset, and that company might be able to acquire a mortgage at maybe 50% leverage, and then,
for example. Yeah, exactly. So if a company has 10 investors who purchase an asset in Florida, this company could refinance. It's like a normal company. So if it's possible in the US, in some other countries, it's not possible. They don't accept that. So this is also where our legal expertise will come in, and we will help guide through all the way to so that the club can make this work perfectly.
Okay. And then I could foresee, I think that's kind of what you're referring to, that potentially in the future, I might be able to leverage, let's say that I was investing in a piece of real estate, maybe at the individual investor level, I could leverage some of the crypto I have to secure a loan to be able to buy larger than, to have leverage on my individual crypto and buying that.
There are lending platforms where you can already, if you have Bitcoin or your stable coin, you can use it as collateral and lend against it. So those things already exist. We are the first token which will be real estate backed. So it is something new. This is what we are working. We are pioneering this a little bit.
Right.
But this is the goal, that at some point if you own 10% of an asset, which is worth X amount, giving this amount of rental income monthly, that you could lend against that.
I see. Yeah. So that would be you could collateralize your shares in that asset. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So let me see. And any more questions you guys have about Asset Avenue, how it works? If you're skeptical, I want to make sure that if you're skeptical about this, that we answer any of your questions so that we can resolve that, because I definitely debated whether or not to even get into something like this, but this is,
you definitely interviewed me quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want, because there's so much out there, so many scams and stuff, but this is legitimate. But it's hard because so many people that are doing all these illegitimate things make it difficult to trust anything in the crypto space.
Totally.
Which I totally get. That's why I think it's great that we're doing this AMA, and anyone can ask any kind of questions about this. Maybe I could ask a question for it, which is like, I mean, we talked about some of the validity, but how can someone, let's say someone's really, really skeptical. They watch this later and they're like, all right, I'm interested in Asset Avenue. I kind of want to do this, but I still don't trust this. What kind of things can they look at to look for themselves to see, okay, this is legitimate? What would you advise them to go through as kind of a checklist to check, or even to check in any coin, besides Asset Avenue? So that, like, what's kind of the thing that someone should look for in order to know that, okay, this is a legitimate project?
Well, of course, if you want to go through the documentation, you should read a white paper. You should take the time, or use AI to read a white paper, at least, to understand what they say, what they claim, what they want to do. Then, of course, you should check if those things are true, because everybody could write anything on a document. So, for example, tokenomics, check how the distribution is, where the tokens are held. Is there a lock period? How many tokens are held by different wallets? Things like that. You don't want a token where 5% of the tokens are held in one wallet somewhere, which would be a nightmare, because that could kill the liquidity immediately. Also, look at what type of central exchanges, though, that token is launched already. That the central exchanges are very important. Look at the community. Is there a real community behind there? Are people interacting with them, or is it just scam? What type of influencers are promoting it? What type of projects have those influencers promoted in the past? See how those tokens evolve. That's probably a big factor. If you have influencers, and just go through their videos and see which coins they have, when they did the video and how they performed in the past. Things like that would make a lot of sense, and because marketing is a big part. And but yeah, so those are probably the most important things. Tokenomics, influencer marketing, what kind of influencers are promoting it, read the white paper, understand it, make sure that it's a project that everybody understands, because if somebody doesn't understand the project, when are tokens in crypto going to explode and grow really high? Well, usually when retail comes in, right? This is what everybody is saying. So if we take this as a fact, then we need to ask ourselves as well, what type of tokens do retail want to invest in? So then probably something that they understand. That's what I like also about real estate world, because everybody is going to touch real estate at some point in his life and understands it. If we talk about AI and AI technology, we might know that AI is here to stay, but the technology behind that is not as easy to understand for everybody. So it's more like a gamble. And yeah, so those things I would say.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, and I encourage you guys to do the investigation yourself, just to check. And if you do come up with questions, you're like, oh, this doesn't seem legitimate or whatever, just ask me. I'll pass on the question to Daniel if I can't answer it myself.
I'm happy to answer any questions. If you want to add me to any groups, you can also go to Asset Avenue Telegram group, and you can always ask questions there. They will get answers by our team. If it's a too difficult answer, then it will get forwarded to our board, and also to me, and I might answer it myself. So yeah, please feel free to answer any question that you might have, and we would be happy to answer them.
Excellent. All right. Well, yeah. Anything else that you want to make sure that we cover here, Daniel?
No, I'm just really looking forward to the next month. I'm so happy that we made progress with these banks. I wanted to launch the token much earlier. I want to get this done so we are out there. I just want to make this well done, and we're just in the last steps. Once we have our green lights, that were the ones that we need, this will be quick. I don't want to go here and say, okay, we're going to go launch from that point 6 months. No, I want the token is going to launch, and we're going to start doing real estate, because that's what we are here for. And once that is out and people start using it and people start realizing how easy and secure and good it is to, then I believe that, yeah, then we will see where our coin is going, what price it is. I want to thank you for your time, and for everybody who's with us already right now. If you buy in the pre-sale, I strongly encourage as well to stake the tokens, because our rewards are amazing right now. It lowers even more your risk, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's to come now.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, and yeah, I'm excited to buy my first property or share of property on the blockchain. I think that'll be an exciting thing to be able to do in the future here, and yeah, and I hope that,
and not such a far future. It will be very quickly. We are very close to it.
Yeah.
We have projects lined up already that we are going to launch immediately once we have a set on our website. There are a couple ones, and we could even have more. We're just taking it slowly, but we will have projects everywhere around the world, and that's the main goal.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and this does really solve a big problem for a lot of people that I know, that I work with, where I deal with coaching clients all the time that are all over the world, and a lot of times it is difficult for them to invest in real estate in their home country, to get real estate. So I feel like this is going to be a big solution for them and for a lot of people, and again, just to make it a lot simpler to do these transactions and have higher liquidity with real estate, which is something that I've always wanted as well. So,
and even in countries where crypto is not well seen or even forbidden, even in those countries it will be possible to purchase real estate through our system. So because everything goes through Europe and everything is secure there, and yeah, we have very impressive partnerships lined up. We have not published them yet, but they will, and it's very, very cool. Many things are happening which I'm not allowed to talk about
Yeah.
already, but things are there. I'm having meeting after meeting every day, and it's a very, very interesting and exciting process right now.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so guys, if you want to get in, I would get in on the pre-sale. I think it's a good plan. But like I said, this token has utility because the real thing behind this is the business. So yeah, I think if you get in the pre-sale, yeah, when it goes live, will you probably have a pretty good profit? Hopefully, yeah. I think no one can predict the future, but it seems pretty likely that that would be the case. But the underlying thing here that we've been stressing is it's the business model of Asset Avenue that's really the thing that that's exciting, and that's the future of it. It's not you just have an opportunity here, and you get this opportunity because it helps to bootstrap this and to get this this initiative going so that Asset Avenue can go live, and you'll be able to invest in real estate on the blockchain. So really exciting. Thanks again for being on here, Daniel, and for letting me be a part of this as well. Because yeah, I think this is going to change the future. So
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me. And as I said before, if there's any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. There are several ways to get in contact with us, even on WhatsApp or Telegram or email, or all through John. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Take care.